know. I like money.
Hey guys, what's going on? Today I'm going to make you guys really rich by teaching you exactly how to flip traders effectively and properly. If you ask anyone in Elder Scrolls how to make money, they're gonna tell you flip traders. So this is the best way to make money. It is the easiest way to make money, and you're gonna make so much money if you can do it properly. And what I'm gonna do here is tell you exactly how you're meant to trade properly. So one of the most important things to do when you're searching through traders is to filter the trader correctly, okay? So the first thing you want to do is go to the trader and search by most recent, okay? So there's a little toggle you can do in the top right of your trader menu. Basically, this is going to list the most recent item all the way to the furthest listed item. You want to look through these until you see an item listed 29 days ago and then stop, because anything listed over 24 hours ago is not going to be good to flip, and someone would have found it before you. Also, if you only have a small amount of money or you have a certain amount of money you want to spend, make sure you put in a maximum price limit. This will again take away items you can't afford or you don't want to be looking at. You can also do a minimum price. I personally don't, but you can put like a 1,000 minimum price on there just so you don't get junk items like potions, etc. People always ask, how do you know the prices of items and how do you know what they will sell for or if they're a good deal? So the easiest way to answer this question is at the very start, you're just going to have to sort of check almost every item that you think might be worth money on a price checker or in a guild chat, etc. Okay. So the most effective way and the way I use personally at the moment is I check in Discord price checkers. So in my Discord, there's two price checking bots, one for Xbox and one for PC. Essentially, you type in an item name and these bots will tell you the exact price this item is worth. So for example, if you see a temper and alloy and you price check that in the Discord, it will tell you it's exactly worth around about 5k, okay? You can also use a website called Tamriel Trade Center, okay? Now this is really good if you're trying to find, say, a weapon or a piece of armor in a specific trait or a specific rarity like gold, okay? Now, Discord price checkers don't check traits. They don't check, you know, what color your item is. They simply just sort of check the item's average price. So this is really good for companion gear or actual gear you want to sell in a specific trait. I'd recommend using that website to get a good idea of what it's worth. So those are two out of game ways to check the price of an item. There are actually three ways you can actually check an item and see what price it's worth within the game if you don't want to use other websites or Discords. And those would be whenever you hover over an item, if you press X on it, you will search for only that item. You can check through the entirety of that guild store, and you can also check in different guild stores for the same item to see what the average price is or the lowest price. Now, I would do this at the #1 trade city on your server. So for me, it is Deshan. So I would go to Mournhold in Deshan. I would press X on an item and I would search all of the 6 traders there. I would look for the lowest price and then I would go back and buy the item if it was lower than the next lowest price. And that's how I would know to flip it. And that's also how I would know what price to flip it at. Alternatively, what you can do is you can look in the guild trade history. If you're in a couple of good trading guilds, you can go to the guild history, see everything that's being sold, and you can actually check for the item name and see what price something's been sold for.
Write that down, write that down!
This is not always a really good way to do this because sometimes people sell things for too cheap. So just keep that in mind if you are using this method. Another way to know the price of an item is to simply ask in a trading guild chat. So I would just ask there, does anyone know the price of, for example, a perfect row? Someone would tell you, yeah, it's like 15k. And then you would know, okay, I see one listed for 10k. I'm going to go buy that and flip it on for 15. So the next thing is you need to know what you're looking for, what you want to flip, and how you're going to find out what is good to flip, okay? So the first thing I would recommend is, again, if you get yourself into a good trading guild, preferably in like Deshan, you're going to want to check the trade history of that guild. It's going to tell you what has sold over the last couple of days. I think you can scroll back 10 days of trade history in a guild. That's really valuable information that not a lot of people know about. And you'll be able to see things and the price they sell for. So if you see something sells for 100k, you may want to keep an eye out for this item for less than that. If you see maybe a really commonly sold item like temper and alloys, you might want to keep an eye out for those, and just that kind of thing, you know, or like lesser known items is what I go for. So if I see like boots of dark convergence, they're selling for 50k, not everyone's going to be flipping those, so you can run around traders and look for the boots and flip those on yourself. Okay, the next thing on how you would know would just be if you find an item that is not so common in your knowledge. So for example, if you see like a rune box, like for example the soul shriven skin rune box, if you happen to see that on a trader, it's worth your time taking the time to check that on a Discord, see how much it's worth, seeing how much it's listed for, and seeing if you can flip it on for more money. Okay, so rare items are generally some of the best flips because people don't always know what they're worth and they don't always check the price. They just sort of list it for, you know, whatever they want. I've actually bought soul shriven skins before for 10k and they've been worth 400 or 500k. So a really big one here, and it's actually really common, and one of the main ones I actually use is there an event on right now, and are there items that you can target there to flip? So right now, for example, the new Deadlands DLC came out on PC. If you're on console, it comes out on the 16th of November. So you have time to do this whenever this video releases to prepare. So what you want to do, especially whenever there's an event on or day one of an event, items are going to be worth an unknown amount of money because they've just released, okay? So if you use the methods to know prices, like I've just said, like asking people in your guild chats, you know, checking sale history, you know, checking on the Tamriel Trade Center day one, checking the Discord bots, asking your trading guilds, things like that for the price of these items, you can then be day one searching around traders for example, purple furnishing plants. For example, if one is listed for 500k, most people will think that's an expensive price. You can buy that, and if it's worth more, you can likely sell it for like 800k. Personally, I did this in my 0 to 100 million gold series. I bought one of the older Blackwood furnishings, the castle. I bought it for 500k and sold it for 800k in the same hour. So this is an effective method and it's really good during events. And also regarding events, this brings me on to another moneymaker that not too many people actually talk about. So flipping the market isn't always an instantaneous thing. You don't always have to be flipping an item within a day or 2 days to be making money. What you can do if you have some spare money lying about is invest in items. So for example, we just had the Witches Festival. What I do generally every Witches event is I buy all of the ghastly eyeballs and I buy a lot of the Witch Mother Potent Brews, you know, things like this, the recipes. And what I do is I store them for about 5 months. And I generally find they're worth about 10 times more than what I paid for them. So I can make 10 times my money, literally just by waiting and doing nothing over a period of months, leaving some things in a chest at my house. And then whenever these items become rare, unavailable, and there's not so much on the market, I can slowly sell mine for quite a lot of money. And whenever you're using all of these methods, over time, you're going to gain a bigger general knowledge. And for someone who's been trading for a long time, that is generally how I know the prices. I don't really always search prices on Discords and things like that. I kind of just know prices in my head because I've been doing it for so long. So over time, flipping becomes really easy. It is a little bit of a struggle at the start, but it does get really easy and it is really profitable. Also, when looking for items, what you want to do is you want to avoid spending a lot of money for a small return. So I see this all the time. For example, people will see that there is a stack of 100 tempered alloys for 4k and they think they're going to buy that and sell it for 500k total, and they're going to get taxed. They're going to make maybe 70k from that, and they're going to have invested a whole 400k. That's something to think about. Make sure you're not investing all of your money for a small return. Try and make sure that you're buying maybe a couple of smaller items for a bigger return, okay? So it's also really important that you know where to look whenever you're flipping traders. So if you don't have a lot of time, I would recommend just going to the top 4 cities. So go to Deshan, then Eldenroot, then Rawclaw, then Wayrest. I would always check them because that is the place where most people are going to list their items, because those are the top trading guilds, and anyone smart is going to list their best items or their cheapest items in a top trading guild. Now, if you have a bit more time, it does pay off to go and check the lesser traders in different spots. For example, I've made countless amounts of money by visiting Southern Elsewhere, places like that. Just little out of the way traders that no one would really frequent, that aren't really near anything that you would be going to. This is sort of where people newer to the game or with less experience or don't really know the prices of items will be listing their items, and you with a big brain can go over and take advantage of that because you'll know exactly how much everything is worth. So a direct example of this is in like episode 4 of my little series 100 to a million gold. We went to Southern Elsewhere, and in one of the traders we found a Stags of Sands chest for 20k. That turned out to be worth 250k, so you see we made more than 10 times our money there just by checking one trader in a really weird place. So if you have time, I'd recommend checking every trader. Also, so you don't get burnt out and it doesn't feel like a chore, what I would do is maybe do your daily dungeon and check traders in between, your daily battleground, check traders in between. So the next thing is, how do you actually flip the item? How do you sell it once you have it, okay? So hopefully you'll have checked the price of what the item is worth. Now it's up to you what you want to do with that information. So generally you'll get the lowest price possible for that item. Now it's up to you if you want to sell it fast and get your money back so you can flip more items. What you want to do is obviously list it slightly below the lowest price you can see on the price checker, get it sold quickly, and then use that money to reinvest. But also there's times, for example, you have a really nice item in a really nice trait. It isn't going to sell instantly because you need the right buyer, okay? So for example, if you have a defending ice staff of powerful assault, someone who's tanking hard content is going to want to buy that, but they might not be buying it in the first day or two. So it's okay to list that for maybe 50k, 100k more than the off trait one, just because you have the perfect trait and someone will need to buy in that trait because they don't want to go and get transmute gems. So a lot of the time it is actually a decision you need to make if you want to sell something fast, or if you want to hold out to get a better price for it because you know a buyer's out there. The next and probably most important step in all of this is to make sure you have a really good trading guild, okay? There's absolutely no point in flipping traders at any point if you have really awful guild traders or you don't have a guild trader at all. So for example, if you're in a guild with like 20 people, you don't have a trader, you know, there's no point in listing anything in that guild store. If you have a guild that is in, for example, Murkmire, there's no point in listing in that store. You really want to be listing all of your items, your most valuable items, things you want to sell fast in your Deshaun trader, in your really high profile traders, okay? And if you do this, trust me, your sales will go up quite a lot. If you were not doing this in the first place, you're going to see significant changes and a lot more profit coming in a lot faster. So if you find an item, okay, for a nice price and you want to sell it on, what you can do, for example, is if you find, say, a purple furnishing from the new Deadlands DLC, what you can do is you can list that in your guild Discord or in your guild chat and just say want to sell. You can put a price on it, or you can just say want to sell and have people offer you money for it, and you can decide to sell it that way. So hopefully this video has helped you guys. Hopefully you guys become rich. Hopefully you guys get a nice house, nice outfits, things like that. And if you did like it, remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you later.